As we were taught in basic economics, the gross domestic product of a country, GDP for short, is the monetary value of the market value of all the final goods and services produced over a specific period by the country. The GDP is therefore a flow measure that does not consider stocks of assets, such as natural resources that has not been produced and or traded in the forms of economic goods and services in the marketplace. In addition, GDP does not fully account for the depreciation of assets, including the natural environment, both within and beyond the national boundaries of countries where economic goods or services is either produced or consumed. In other words, the positive and or negative externalities of economic production and consumption can only be captured in GDP to the extent that they are duly valued and accounted for in terms of their market values. It therefore creates embedded incentives for countries to pursue unsustainable economic activities that grow the market value of all the final goods and services they can produce over a specific period, irrespective of their known or unknown social and environmental externalities. This could favor policies with short-term benefits over those focused on long-term sustainability, such as forest conservation, climate mitigation, biodiversity conservation, and or social inclusion. Let us look at an example of a forest ecosystem. If you don't cut down a tree from your forest and or harvest its components, fruits, leaves, timber, etc., for sale in markets, the economic value of the standing tree will not be appropriately reported in your GDP, except perhaps through the proceeds from tourism and associated market values received from forest ecosystem. But when you cut down the tree and sell it in form of timbers or processed furniture, your GDP will automatically increase. By re-estimating the gross domestic product of countries by considering monetary values of carbon sequestration functions of Africa's forests, the report builds on existing body of work on inclusive wealth by UNEP and novel approaches to measure the wealth of nations being done by the World Bank to demonstrate how the internalization of the net externalities of production of goods and services in countries could produce a re-indexed GDP and positively incentivize green transitions while accelerating the Sustainable Development Goals in countries. Proper valuation and monetization of carbon sequestration of forest ecosystems will, for example, create positive and compelling economic incentives for countries to invest in forest preservation and sustainable logging, playing a key role in climate mitigation and green transition without command and control climate policies. Proper valuation of natural capital and the ecosystem services they provide, such as carbon sequestration, is therefore a win-win strategy for growing economies, conserving natural ecosystems, and accelerating green transitions and the achievement of sustainable development goals in countries everywhere. Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, president of the African Development Bank Group, has dubbed the re-indexed GDP, which considers the economic value of natural capital and ecosystem services they provide, as the green wealth of nations. Please do join us on 14 November 2024 from 13:30 hours to 15:00 hours Azerbaijan time at the Africa Pavilion to launch the report and discuss its findings, including the actionable next steps to operationalizing natural capital accounting and integrating the values of the public goods provided by nature's infrastructure in national systems of accounts of countries to rebase their GDP.